Good morning, everybody. 8:15, August 8th. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yesterday, interesting day. Apple, a big market, big weighted market cap in the S&P as far as the Nasdaq too. Yesterday's level of 180. Once we broke that, held below it. It's hard for the market to get up, right? So we came down and we basically touched Nasdaq's lows, and Apple kind of like was so weak, but the rest of the market picked it up. Not picked up Apple, but the rest of the market was stronger and had some stronger runs like Netflix, Meta, Google. Like those had some runs, Nvidia from the bottoms, right? But Apple, when it's being held down like that, um, you're gonna get weakness, okay? And Apple's just something to watch. You have to keep it on your radar, okay? The level today is in Apple is the gamma flip point 177.5. That is the level to watch in Apple. Okay, that is the big level to watch. Also 180. So I would say a big barometer of what this market will do today. Can Apple go over 180 and hold it? That would be positive for the market, right? If Apple falls below 177 and a half, we're gonna go lower. Okay, that's just something I'm looking at. It's always something you should keep on your radar is Apple. Um, okay, so without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. Use volume profile, market profile, gamma exposure level, supply and demand. Of course, the rolling most traded price of the week and the rolling most traded price of the month makes us build a structure in the market to try to be on the right side of trades. Okay. Also, price action can fool everybody. Fools me. It's a temptress, it's a seductress, whatever you want to call it. It can fool you. And structure tries to keep you just on the right side. All right. That's why you build a foundation and say, hey, these levels, if then scenarios, right? That's what we do here. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Subscribe if you haven't already. Set an alert. Be much appreciated. You also can give me a thumbs up. I like. I would like that. You can follow me on Twitter at Gonzo719. All right. So, we're going to get into some news because there's some big news that dropped. Okay, there's big news that dropped. Earnings came out. All right, earnings came out. News out of China came out. News, Moody's downgraded banks. All right, this is what's going. UPS had a big earnings miss. Datadog is down a lot. Well, it was down 21%. Now it's down 17%. But cybersecurity stocks have been taking a beating. Fortinet, Datadog. So what's happening is these earnings are maybe beating some numbers, but missing on other things, right? And you're seeing the economy is maybe not as strong as everybody thinks it is. But let's see. Okay, she's got a lot of catalysts going on right now. All right, so let's just get into the futures. We'll look at the watch list, go over what we're seeing. All right, so the first thing you're going to note is the VIX. VIX is up 8.05% at 17, a key level. Okay, next, 30-year bonds are being bought. Bonds have been sold off. 30-year bonds are being bought right now. Okay, that's going to send the 10-year yield really a lot lower. Okay, people are flying to safety. All right, we'll get into the news with the Moody's downgrade of the of banks. Okay, is causing people to flight to safety. Also, globally, the financial global scene also is not looking good. People are flying to safety. If you look at bonds, TLT in particular, really at lows. Really at lows. Full transparency, I have bought TLT on this dip. It's more of an investment. So let's see. Let's see. I mean, these yields aren't going to stay this high forever. Some people are calling for yields to go skyrocket. I'm not sure. Okay. All right. Bitcoin's up 0.96. Dollar is up 0.65. Ether up 0.63. Gold's down 0.51. The Dow is down 0.71. ES is down 0.77. Nasdaq's down 0.82. Silver's down 1.17. That little volatile metal, use silver. All right, Russell, that's my killer. I mismanaged that trade a little bit, but that's the breaks in trading, right? That is down 1.33%. That is out of this balance range. That is not the best for my trade. Right, I didn't take a huge amount of risk on it, but still, I mismanaged it a little bit. Faked me out a little bit. So 10-year yield, just like I said, down 1.86%. Down 1.9 as we speak. It's at 4% yield right now. If it cracks to 4% yield, we're probably going to go back down. People are going to start buying bonds more. Okay? So we'll just keep an eye on that. Crude down 2.11%. I was not a fan of getting long at these levels. Okay, crude is at the most traded price of the rolling year. Okay, and at a key resistance level, that's one. Okay, however, China just reported that it's down in numbers with the trade balance, exporting, importing, not good numbers from China. Okay, that is not good for crude. China is the largest importer of crude. Okay, it's been made a big move, so it's still at $80 a barrel. I expect some type of pullback in crude. All right, so these all tie together. They all tie together. All right, let's move on to the stocks I like to day trade. Okay, let's look at how they are doing. Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. Here we go. All right, I also track the VX futures. Obviously, that's up 6.1%, 7%. But we're talking about stocks I like to day trade. Now, coin has been beaten down. Okay. Now, the only thing I can see here, okay, that crude has made a big move, right? So I believe the CPI headline probably will tick up a little bit from crude. Okay, that won't affect core. Now, inflation, if it goes up, right, Bitcoin becomes more of a play again, right? So coin getting a little love. This is just a little love. Up 0.64. Okay, if you look at coin, it's been in a channel to the downside. Okay, maybe we go over that in a little bit. Okay, now look at Apple's been beaten down. Okay, Apple went and touched the 100-day moving average. Okay, so I don't know if there's much further movement. I think we might consolidate here. Okay, it's up 0.11. Now we get into the laggards. Okay, we'll go with the one percenters at least. Amazon. The big level to watch at Amazon is 140 and 138. Okay, you want to see that hold support. If it doesn't, well, look out. JP Morgan, Moody's downgrade. It's going to hurt the financial sector. They're down 1.19%. AMD is not, it's just consolidating, right? It keeps looking like it wants to jump, but it just can't. You look at the moving averages, it's spider web there. But AMD is just like being held down, okay? Tesla has a new CFO. EV saw a little downtick yesterday. So this is a level that I was looking at yesterday was 250. I didn't get a pullback to it to short it. So I didn't trade Tesla yesterday. Now, BABA, they still report earnings coming up, but the China news is not helping BABA. Now, Snow, I have to look into why Snow. Right now, I don't. Why Snow? I don't know if it's in sympathy because of Datadog. I doubt that, but just see. Well, you know what? We can look into it later. Okay, that's some of the news there. Okay, moving on. Top sector stocks. Let's look at how they're doing. Okay, Procter and Gamble. This is just defensive stocks, right? Walmart, J&J, McDonald's, right? Those are all safety plays. Down a little bit, but not as down as much, right? But where we go down into the one percenters, Home Depot got a downgrade. They're down 1.19%. Qualcomm down 1.25%. We know they did not have good earnings, right? Chevron down 1.29%. That's because of China. Same with Exxon, down 1.3. Morgan Stanley financials, right? Down 1.6. UPS. I don't like to say that because I bought some UPS, but that's an investment, so I'm not really gonna sweat over it. However, they missed the Teamsters deal, their forecast. They missed revenue. However, right, with this yellow freight truck going out of business, you better believe UPS is going to put this, unfortunately, back to the customer for shipping rates. They're going to raise the rates. They're going to cover and recover. So I have full faith in UPS for the future. Okay, but not a good earnings call. Okay, sectors. This should be pretty straightforward. Healthcare getting love. Lilly beat earnings. Okay, Lilly beat earnings, and they are up 8.79% pre-market. Okay, utilities. That's defensive. Staples defensive, right? So let's go into the one percenters. Industrials. Industrials is down. So let's see what Cat and Boeing are doing. Cat is down almost a percent. Boeing is down 0.59. UPS is industrials. Okay, so that's going to cause some pain there. Semiconductors down 1.1. Discretionary, you got your Tesla and your Amazon, your Home Depot. That's going to get hurt. 1.14. Financials at 1 point, down 1.24. Basic materials pretty interesting. That's down 1.549. And energy that China news is just hurting everything, right? All right, that wraps up the watch list. We can get into some market news. I wanted to go right into what I was talking about right here. Okay. We got Fed speaking too. You can see the red with the Fed speaking. Let's see what they've been saying, right? Fed's Harker, the Fed will need to hold rates steady for a while. Fed's Harker, I see core PCE declining to just below 4% by the end of 2023, below 3% in 2024, and 2% in 2025. Let's see, Fed's Harker, barring alarming new data by mid-September, I believe we may be at the point where we can be patient and hold rates steady. Okay, this is the big news right here. This wraps up a lot of stuff. Okay, so let's look at this news. Make it bigger. All right, so Moody's downgrades some U.S. banks and signals more to follow. Okay, so I'm just going to read this. All right, so this is very important. As a slew of news on China, Italy, and U.S. banks stoke concerns about the financial system and the global economy, bond yields fell globally and shares fell. Okay, TLT is what I said to everybody that I bought on a dip is up 1.82% this morning. Okay, so that's what they're talking about. Yields fall, bonds, people buy bonds. Okay, there was a broad shift towards safety in all markets. The 10-year Treasury yield decreased by 10 basis points, and the German equivalent rates decreased by 13 basis points. The dollar index increased by around 0.4. So this is where we're going. We're going to go with this. After Italy proposed an unexpected tax on windfall earnings, banks reported the largest losses in Europe, sending shares of Unicredit and Intesa Sanpaolo down by more than 6%. As Moody's downgraded the credit ratings of 10 small and mid-sized lenders and issued a warning about the risks associated with commercial real estate. So commercial real estate is really in trouble. Investors will also closely monitor U.S. financials. Now here's the China news. After China disclosed additional statistics that demonstrated that its economic engine is faltering, investor mood also suffered. Last month, imports decreased and exports fell by the greatest since the start of the COVID epidemic in early 2020. So there you go. That's negative for oil. Okay. A measure of European mining shares and the Hang Seng China Enterprises Index both decreased by roughly 2%. Oil and copper prices both fell by roughly 1% as the price of commodities declined. And then ECB's consumer survey, Eurozone inflation 3 years ahead, see at 2.3 versus 2.5 in a previous poll. That is why you see weakness in oil. That is why you see weakness in financials. And that is why you see the 30-year bond being bought, TLT being bought. 10-year yield is at 3.9 now. It's down 2.26%. Okay? So that is that. That's big news, right? We already covered so Eli Lilly, we talked about that. Now what's this about SoftBank? It says Japan SoftBank. Let's see this here. Japan SoftBank posts quarterly loss despite vision recovery. Okay. Oh, this is also not good for Baba. SoftBank Group, helmed by billionaire investor Masayoshi Son, fell to the loss of 477.6 billion, or roughly 3.3 billion, during the April to June period. Analysts had been expecting a profit of 75 billion, dropping valuations in big stakes in companies like Alibaba and T-Mobile weighed on SoftBank's overall performance. Okay. All right. Let's check to see if anything just came over the wire. So we got our meme stock here. Let's see. So we know about UPS, Eli Lilly, Palantir stock fell 2.1%, decided that analysis. Tesla stock fell 2% after the electric vehicle manufacturer's finance chief stepped down. Chegg stock soared over 20% after the online education company reported better than expected. And it says looking to take AI fight to ChatGPT. AMC stock rose 3.5% after the movie theater chain posted strong second quarter numbers. New York Times stock rose 5.3% after the newspaper beat second quarter revenue expectations. Okay. Alrighty, what do we got on the economic calendar today? The Feds are speaking. Not much on the docket. Okay, even tomorrow, not much on the docket. Well, Thursday CPI, Friday PPI, so that's the big news that's coming out. Okay. Now, let's move over. What do we got after the close? Real quick. Let's see earnings. What do we have to have after the close today? We got Rivian. AMC reported? I thought they're supposed to be after the close. But AMC, Upstart, Supermicro, Tulio, Marathon, Celsius, Soundhound, Luminar. Okay. Tomorrow, more bigger ones reporting. Okay, let's go over to these daily charts. How about we do that? Okay, let's look at the daily chart. Okay, so we are consolidating. Okay, we're consolidating. So underneath these moving averages, right? 8 EMA daily, 20 simple moving average. These are acting as resistance right now, as well as the 452 level. Okay, where are we at now? 447.35. 447.35. We're right here. We're gapping lower. So, more to the lows of Friday. All right, we're holding lower, which is bearish. Okay, structure's bearish. Let's look at the weeklies. All right, we still haven't taken out last week's lows. Okay, but where are we at? What is that? 447.30. 447.30. Yeah, we're close to last week's lows now. Okay. Keep in mind the 10-week EMA. That is at 443. There's a key support level was resistance, could turn into support, 444. This is probably going to be, if we go lower, where we're going to tag. Okay. Here's monthlies. Okay. Here's the profile. Okay. Probably going to move this most traded price down to 449. Okay. Now let's look at my weekly and monthly levels. Okay. How do we do that? Well, I'm going to zoom in here. Okay. So, what does this signify? This signifies last week's, the orange is last week's highs and lows. Okay. We didn't breach them like I just said, right? Now, this is the previous month's highs. Okay. That lines up with the 444, lines up with the 10-week EMA. That's a big level in the SPY. Okay. That's a very big level. I expect people to take profit there, and I expect buyers to step in. Okay. Now, does the 444 line up? No, we're not by the 50, but the Qs you'll see in a second that we're going to go to now. Regional banks are getting destroyed. That's why the Russell's getting decimated right now, because of that downgrade. Okay. Now let's look at the Qs. Qs has that 372, boy. You're getting a lot of longs buying there. Okay. That's very weak low. Okay. Very weak. Holding under the 20 and the 8 EMA. Where are we now? 372.40. 372.40. We're right here. Hanging around these lows. Okay. So if we break these lows, you really want to see us hold under there and not go back into range. Okay. You just don't, that's how you're going to gauge that move. You have to find acceptance lower. You can't just dip down and just get right back into range, right? That's going to show sellers do not have the strength yet. Here's the weeklies. Here's that 10-week EMA. 10-week EMA is at 367.67, right? So I see a level right here on a weekly. So I'm going to put that level right there. 364.52. Okay. Got a little bit of support there on a weekly. So let's just see here. So I just put that level 364. You can see how these line up. If I go back to a daily, there we go. I just put this level down there. That's how you zoom out all the time. 364.52. Now check that out, right? Resistance, 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 support, support, support. We have the 50-day moving average here. Will that get tagged? I am not sure. Remember, I told you guys about that broken wing butterfly on the put side that I have, right? My target's 360, because if we tag here and we land up in here, I'll make more money. But if we don't, I'm going to pocket the credit, right? I almost have all the credit already. So the trade's working out good. All right. So we got that new level, 364.52. Okay, so let's look at Qs. So yesterday we breached last week's lows. Okay, right here was last week's lows, but then we got bought up. Now, did I just lie to you? Why am I getting confused on there? Yeah, we did. All right, just want to make sure. Last week's lows, pierced it, came above it, right? Most traded price is here, right? 376. So this is the previous month's highs. Okay, so we came into there, and this is very important. Okay, moving on. Go to the Dow. All right, now the Dow, healthcare had some strength yesterday. Okay, bounced right off this 20-day simple moving average. Now we got a level here we have to put in. This level, not really as important anymore. New level, we're going to go right there. Okay. That level has been resistance, 354. Okay. Where are we at now? 352. We are here. That is very bearish. We're at the lows of yesterday after that big move. Now, Home Depot, UPS, all in the Dow, Goldman Sachs, big holdings in the Dow that are going to make this week. Okay. That could be a total reversal candle here. So really watch the Dow. See how we're just consolidating in the Dow? Big move up and we're consolidating, right? And these are the weeklies. Here's the monthlies. Let's go to the profile. Let's look at our levels, right? Here's last week's lows. Right here. We are well above that from yesterday, right? That big move. Okay. But right now, let's just look at it where we're at here. Right now, this is last week's lows. See the sell-off happening here. You want to see if this gets defended. So what is that? 350? I have to put a little marker there. Let's put in a little alert there. Alright, so we got an alert there now. I want to see if that gets breached, okay? Now, this is last month's highs, far away from that. Okay, so you really, this 350 level is key, okay? Alright, moving on to the Russell, which is the Moody's. The Moody's just destroyed this Russell trade that I was in. Look at that range, holding, holding, holding. Well, guess what? Moody's downgraded that credit. Is going to destroy this level. Okay. Look at this fake out with me, man. I went long on a pullback here. And I was like, yes, let's go. And then drop down. And then I was like, ooh, they're holding it. Ooh, they're holding it. Ooh, again. And it couldn't hold on. Couldn't hold on. Okay. So this range right here, we were still in it yesterday. Okay, let's look at the weeklies. All right, so we got a double right here. Now this has kind of been played with a little bit. I might even move this down here to there. 193.06. That's the new level I'm looking at there for the weeklies. Okay, now where is it now? 191.77. 191.77. Jesus, it's all the way down here. It's almost back to 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Right here. Jeez, that's pretty bearish, right? It just can't. It hit this resistance again, and look what we're gonna do. We're gonna wind up falling back here. Here's the profile. See, this is how the profile looks without the overnight, right? This is bullish, but not now. Not now. Let's put it on there. And you can see with the Moody's, look at that. Taking this level out right here is that level you don't want to take out. Right here is that level, 193. It just broke it, and now we're going to go down to the 191.34. Okay, if this not bounce and go this way, it's not good because you're coming out of a big area, and now longs are covering. Okay. Okay. Let's go into the 10-year yield, which has gone down quite a bit. Let's look at it. Big gap down. Okay. Look at that. You're up here. Boom. All the way down. It's at 4.0 yield right now. It went all the way down to 3.9. Okay. Very, very interesting. People flying to safety right now. Okay. Let's look at that VIX. So there's some fear in this market now. Okay. Look at this level, 1736. We need to look at that level. There's 4 daily tops there. So I have an alert here. We're at right now 16.79. We're right here. If you break that, go to 18s. That's the next level. Okay, people are getting fear. VIX is 30 days out of fear. Okay, buying insurance. People are buying insurance there. Let's go to the dollar. Dollar is big move up today. Big move up. Now it's interesting that the dollar is up that much. You got to break out of this 102, but gold is not falling that bad. Okay, Bitcoin's getting more and more love. So coin, I mean, this has been beaten. Okay, so we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's move on. I want to have some time to maybe show you some levels in stocks. Okay, let's go to the market profile, my baby. Let's go right to, and crude's just getting smoked. Let's get right into it. Let's get right into this chart. We're going to go over all the stuff we go over. All right. So we're getting bought up at the lows again. Okay. This market's pretty resilient. So people are buying UPS up too. That stock was down over 7%. It's only down 3.88% now. So, there is value in that, and not just because I own it, is because there is. That's still at a great price. You look at the price of UPS, it's still I feel some value there. Okay, now we got a balanced profile. Okay, no surprise there. No surprise. What's our most traded price of the week? We got 45.25. Okay, that's the middle of our balance. We have a beautiful balanced profile. Okay, we're in a range here. Here's our lows. Here's our highs. Okay, this is setting up for CPI. Now CPI most likely will tick up because of oil and gas. The headline number, not core. Okay, so this is important. Okay, very important. Now, here's our 20-day simple moving average. Here's our 9 EMA daily. Those were under, right? And we're holding lower prices. This is all bearish. Most traded price of the month is still way up here. I would say maybe by the end of the week this will move down as well, and then what do we call that? Ultimate balance. And then a big move is going to happen probably for CPI. And now we're hanging out these lows. If CPI ticks up, people in the market are going to get spooked, which could take out these lows. All right. Now let's look at our structure, which is very important right now. Let's look at the structure of the market. We'll look at a relationship of yesterday's range, and where it is at today. Okay, this is very important to look at. I didn't really have my edge wasn't great yesterday. Apple being that weak, but then the rest of the market, like it's not. You don't want to see. It's like a hard market to read a little bit. So I did have a short in Microsoft that I took off for a small profit. So, however, let's look at this, right? So prices here, we're at the lows. We're below yesterday's lows, yesterday's highs. Okay, overnight high and overnight low. So we're gapping down very slightly. We're gapping down where? Into demand. Into the bracket low. There's a gap here. Has not been filled. Okay, these are all the little nuances, right? So, like I said, this market has to break these lows and hold under it to ensure strength of sellers. Right now, it has not been able to really hold below these lows. Now, remember, like I said, Apple's been quite beaten down. Apple's up up 0.16. It's not a huge, but it's been beaten. So maybe Apple holds on until CPI, right? So what do we have here? Inventory opened here in the overnight, right? Went long only that much, and you have a poor high here. So the longs that had poor trade location here, they got stuffed. You got monthly VWAP right here, 9 EMA daily right here. Supplies formed here and here. Okay, so we're 100% net short. All this is short activity. Okay, so I'd like to see price down here if I'm interested in going long. I'd like to see the market open up somewhere here at the lows maybe. Okay, and then you can take advantage of all that short activity. Now you do have a lot of negative headlines. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, so off the bat, I'm going to go with the bullish scenario just because of this, what I spoke about. So if the market opens, this is what I would like to see, or a bull would like to see as a scenario. You come down, boom. You try to fill this gap. You can't. You whip back, start making higher lows, and then the market's most likely going to revisit the most traded price of the week and yesterday. Have a little hard time in the supply zone, possibly come right back up to monthly VWAP and the overnight high. Okay, just because the whole overnight is short. Okay, and it has a poor high in the overnight, so it could propel it a little bit up to even to here, that is negative epoch here. Okay, that's a big possibility. Now you could also take this down, and you know this would be more bearish though. However, if it filled the gap right here and had hit this demand and started doing it, same thing, same thing. Okay, because this quick, it has to be a quick recovery, not hold down, not hold down there. Quick recovery, you're going to get a move back up, and we're going to wait for CPI. The market's not ready to sell off yet. Okay. Now, as far as the bearish, we have a lot of bearish things going on. Okay. Of course, what we could do is you have a gap here. Now, like I said, this gap is not big. We could even open up without a gap. Obviously, if we open here, you could touch that. You could roll over and possibly fill this gap. But you have to break these lows, which is also the gap. So a lot of confluence there. Okay. For me, I don't really want to short the lows. So more advantageous would be a move up to the most traded price of the week in supply here. And then you can't hold above it. That would give you some move here to hit yesterday's lows and then try to take out this and fill this gap and possibly hit the 50-day moving average. Okay, so for me, I don't want to really look short or see a bearish scenario unless you start testing up here, because you need liquidity, right? You need liquidity to move the market. All right, let's move on to the NASDAQ. Oh, that was the ES. All right, let's look at that NASDAQ now. Okay, NASDAQ's just balancy, balancy, balancy. It's got more defined edges of this bracket. Okay. Okay. So balanced profile. Not as beautiful as balanced as the ES, but it is balanced. Most traded price of the week is 15420. We're in balance, guys, right? And girls. We have a low. This is our gap that has not been filled. This is our 50-day moving average on the daily chart. Here's the bracket low, the balance low of this NASDAQ right there. Okay? Then you have a mini bracket right here. We're in like a mini bracket of a larger bracket. Okay? Price is right here. Now, in the NASDAQ, we're not gapping down. Okay? We're inside yesterday's range. So, here's the overnight high, here's the overnight low. Here we have a poor high. It's very important to note that. A poor high in the NASDAQ. Poor high is a market profile terminology. Just means that longs had poor trade location. Okay? And usually this gets corrected. Usually this gets poof corrected. It's poor structure. Okay? That's why I love the profile. Just poor structure. That's all that means is poor structure. And usually it gets tested and it gets extended. Okay? You need excess. Now that we got that out of the way, we're in a little bit of a balance here. Okay? Now, same thing. What's the overnight inventory? Here we go. That's the only long activity to all that short activity. So it's about 95% net short. Okay? But the price is not at the lows to take advantage of that. Also, you got a very balanced profile. Say, so the shorts that were piling in, trying to pile in here, well, they had to take profits and then they had to cover. So that's been done. So you can't look at that like that unless we open up down here again. Okay, that's the only way you take advantage of that. Right now, it's a wait and see. Okay, so yesterday's high, yesterday's low, overnight high, overnight low. Almost equal, right? Have some single prints here. That all doesn't matter. This is not the best. Right here is not the best place to be as far as something happening, right? You have supply here. Okay, so really easy. Let's go over the scenarios here. Okay, again, same like the ES. You have a gap. It's not filled yet. You have a 50-day simple moving average. Okay, you have demand here. So you'd want to kind of see a move down. Maybe break this bracket low, which is also the gap. Come down to this demand and you get some support here. Even tag the 50-day. And you're going to go back to the most traded price at least and probably go like that. You could also just dip into the gap and also do this as well. Okay. Now, a bearish scenario. Come down, say what I said again, come up, then you hit resistance at this big level in supply. And then we could roll over and then fill the gap and hit the day moving average, right? Could also come up all the way up to here, correct the poor high here a little bit, poof, hit the monthly VWAP, which is right here, start to roll over again. Those are the points where you want to see what the market's going to do. Okay? So that is the NQ. Now, real quickly, I promised you I'm just going to look at some of these daily charts here on the stocks. Let's see here. All right, so let's look at Apple. All right. right? So I want to show you guys something how I look at. I don't show this a lot, okay? So remember how I talk about white lines, orange lines, right? So I can already see on this daily chart, right, that this is last week's, the white is month. So this is the month, high and lows, right? I can also see last week's high and low, right? But look where Apple, this is the 100-day moving average. See that? And this is how much Apple's fallen. So this is last month, right, which is July. These whites is June. So Apple has went to June's monthly lows. That's how much it's dropped, right? So I just want to keep this in perspective for everybody. Look at the support around this level. Okay? 100-day moving average, also the June's lows. Now, you could think this could be a buying opportunity for some people waiting for a pullback. Okay, think about that. The Apple's at almost its 100-day moving average. The Qs are not even close to, they're not even hit the 50-day moving average. So that's how much Apple has fallen down. Okay, so I expect consolidation here. Okay, that's something you have to look at. Okay, so let's look at some gamma levels here. Okay. So there's that flip point I talked about, 177.5. That's where the market flips to negative gamma below it. Negative gamma is volatile. Okay. We are right now at 179 even. We are right here. Price is right here. We can show you that right now where price is. Price is right here. Okay. So I have alerts. You see at the flip point and at 180. Okay. So here's my plan for today for Apple. I only touch Apple if it goes here or here. Okay, see now, see these blue lines? This is yesterday's daily high and low. So we're in the middle of the range, towards the lower part, but like that's not a lot of edge there. Okay. Okay. Now let's look at coin, just on a daily chart, and then I'm gonna go here. But check this channel out that it was in. And now, important for coin, okay? Important for coin. So, this is Leo. You guys know, whites are months. We're not quite to last month's lows, right? But this is last week's high, last week's lows. We're below it, right? But look at the buying excess here yesterday, right? Now, has a trend line from here. See, it almost came down to it. So for me, with Bitcoin getting some love, we could see some stuff happen in coin. Now let's look at some flip points, some gamma levels. Okay. So this level here, 85, is the flip point for the month. See how it's holding it? Look at it. Holding it, right? What's this? Last week's lows. It's holding last week's lows. What's the blues? Yesterday's high. Yesterday's high. So this told us we can't go lower. This held 85. Bitcoin is up 2%. Okay. You want to see it break out. Now look at this. This has been resistance here, even in the overnights. Okay. So you want to see a nice move up and hold the daily highs, the weekly, last week's lows. You could definitely see a move to 92, which is the weekly flip point. So this is looking very, very nice for coin. Okay, you can see just the downward slope of that channel, and now this could be a point to all this liquidity above to start making a move. Okay, now you don't have any moving average in your way until about 91 and 97. So excess here, right? And look at all this liquidity that you'd have to hurt, right? So that's what I'm looking at. And that's what I look at, right? The gamma levels and these levels. So hopefully that made sense. And I went on a little longer than I wanted to. Okay. But if you enjoyed that, please subscribe. Set an alert. Also, give me a big thumbs up. That would help me out too. That always helps. Much appreciated. You can always follow me on Twitter at Gonzo719. Okay. We got our plan. Okay. Apple 180 and 177 and a half. That's what you need to look at today. Okay. Can we defend those lows? Do we move lower? Coin is up 1.13% right now. That is on my radar. Okay. Big time on my radar. So we got key levels in coin. All right. Okay. Wow, UPS is making a big comeback. That's interesting. I like that, obviously. All right. Everybody got a levels. Hopefully you enjoyed content today. I'll see everybody tomorrow.